Good morning, class 11. Good morning, girls. Children, continuing with bills of exchange, we will continue with the accounting treatment of bills of exchange. I hope you remember the accounting treatment we discussed the day before. The bills of exchange, a quick review, a quick revision of what we discussed in the previous lecture. Okay, girls, now bills of exchange. We discussed that it is a contract, it's a treatment from both the parties, that is the drawer and the drawee. Who is the drawer now? The seller of the goods on credit is called the drawer. And who is the drawee? The purchaser of the goods, the buyer of the goods on credit is called the drawee. Or we can say the seller of the goods is the writer of the bill. That is why he's drawing the bill. That is why he's called drawer of the bill. And the acceptor of the bill or the buyer of the bill is the person on whom the bill is getting drawn. That is why he's called the drawee of the bill. Now proceeding or a quick review back for the accounting treatment. Now from your textbook, I take you to your textbook very quickly, a review of the accounting treatment. The first case is, I told you there are different ways to carry on with the bill of exchange. The first case is the accounting treatment in the relation when the bill is drawn by, we had taken a general assumption, supposing X is the drawer and Y is the drawee. These will be the cases. X and drawee we'll assume for all the accounting treatments to understand, so that our understanding is not way hired. So X the drawer and Y is the drawee. Now the first case is when the bill is retained, it is drawn by the X, by the drawer, and it is retained by the drawer till the due date. We had calculated the due date also. I hope you remember due date plus the days of grace. Okay, we proceed. The first entry, when X sold goods to Y. X is the drawer. When the drawer sells the goods to the acceptor or the drawee. The accounting treatment, Y to sales, that is in the books of X, and purchases to X in the books of Y. We always remember, it is always better, children, to remember both the transactions in both the books, the drawer and the drawee, simultaneously. So that, because most of the cases, 90% of the cases, you are asked to write the accounting treatment or make the accounting treatment in both the books. So it will always be better that whenever a case flashes, the accounting treatment of both the aspects flashes in your mind. So learn both simultaneously. So it is when the bill is drawn, when the goods are sold, Y to sales and purchases to X. Next, when X received a bill duly accepted by Y. X has sold the goods to Y and Y has accepted a bill which was drawn by X. So in the books of X, BR to Y, and in the books of Y, X to bills payable. Third, when the bill is retained by X till the date of maturity, and this is the date of maturity. The bill is accepted, bank to BR and BR bills payable to bank. I told you BR is an asset and assets always have a debit balance. See here, assets are always debited. This is the only circumstance when the bill is being paid. When the bill is being paid, the bill that was accepted, that was asset here, is cancelled. Cancellation of a bill will always have a reverse treatment. So whatever BR was debited here will be credited here. Once again, accounting treatment in the books of X, sorry, Y to sales, BR to Y, and bank to BR. And in the books of Y at the same time, purchases to X, X to bills payable, and bills payable to bank. That is the first case when the bill is drawn, and it is drawn by X and it is retained by X till the due date, and the bill is paid on the due date. That was the first case. Then continuing to the second case, We had done the illustrations also, and I had asked you to do the coinciding questions. Proceeding to the next type of accounting treatment, or next type, how the case is taken when the bill is discounted from the bank. I explained the meaning of discounted to you. When the bill is discounted from the bank, when X discounts the bill from the bank account, discounting charges to BR, and at that time there is no entry, no transaction, no contract in the books of Y. So it is no entry. And on the due date, now he has already got the bill encashed by the bank. So on the due date, he will not get anything. But on the due date, the drawee has to make the payment. Drawee cannot be forced to make the payment before the due date. So if X needs the payment before the due date, he hands his bill to the bank and gets the payment from the bank. At that time, Y is not affected, so no entry here. But when Y is making the payment, X will not be affected because the payment by Y is now going to the bearer of the bill, that is the bank. So at that time, the entry for making the payment, this entry will always be same. May the case be anything. May the holder of the bill be anybody. Bills payable to bank. Proceeding, we had done the question coinciding this. Illustration 6 was done. Now next we come to the negotiation, or the first type of negotiation, that is endorsement of a bill. I told you endorsement means transfer of a bill. I write a bill on Y, and Y cannot be forced to make the payment before this. I have to make the payment to, I have to collect the payment from Y and make the payment to Z. So instead of payment going from Y to X and X to Z, the case just changes when X hands over his bill to Z and tells Z that on the due date when Y has to pay, you can collect the bill. That is endorsement. The bill has been transferred by the drawer to the payee. Here we have assumed Z is the payee here. Entries in the books of X, Z to BR. Bill has been given to Z. Z is the receiver. So Z will be debited Z to BR. Y is not affected. No entry at this time. The contract is between, the agreement is between the drawer of the bill and the payee of the bill. X and Z. So this person, Z to BR, no entry, and BR to X. At that time when the bill is paid on the due date, no entry here. He will not get anything. He has already passed his bill. Why no entry here? Because he has endorsed his bill in favor of Z. So he does not have the bill now. But this person, Y, has to make the payment. Iski entry to same hi hogi. I told you this entry will not get affected whether the case is anything. So bills payable to bank. And Z now is the receiver of the payment. So bank to bills receivable. Otherwise this entry would have been made here in the books of X. But here the bill has been endorsed in favor of Z. So the entry that was to be made in the books of ZX will now be made in books of Z. Bills payable to bank and bank to bills receivable. And the case is done. Endorsement is done. The illustrations following this we had discussed. Fourth is the case to handle. We had discussed when the bill is sent to the bank for collection. BSC account. I told you bill is sent to the bank for collection. We ask the bank to do the favor. Suppose I am not in the same station of the drawee or the payee. I request the bank to make the payment, to collect the payment on my behalf. So for that purpose, I hand over the bill to the bank. That is called BSC account. The bank is not the payee, but bank has been transferred the bill for the collection purposes. Bank will collect the bill and credit that in the books of, in the account of the drawer. Accounting treatment, when the bill has been, there are accounting treatment in two stages. First, when the bill has been sent to the bank. So BSC account to BR. Bill has been sent means BR to debit, credit hoga hi hoga. BR is going away, so BR will be credited. And what will be debited? BSC account. The bill sent for collection account. So bill sent for collection to BR. Next, on the due date, bank to bill sent for collection. Bank means money has been debited here. The money has been received. Whenever I told you we can otherwise always replace cash and bank account, but this is the case when the amount is getting entered directly in my bank account. So we will not use the word cash here. Only bank account will be debited. Bank account to BSC account, bill sent for collection account, and the treatment is done. Rest all, this is not in independent entry. This is done in succession to the previous 3 entries. This is just the entry of receiving and making the payment. Next, after this, retiring the bill under rebate. We had discussed rebate is a concession that is given by the drawer to the drawee, or by the maker of the bill to the acceptor of the bill, for the payment being received little early. A little rebate. We tell the drawee that if supposing the goods have been sold for 100 rupees, I tell the drawee that if you pay me within 10 days, you will have to make the payment for 100. But if you pay me in 5 days, you can pay me 950. If you pay me in 2 days, you will have to pay me 930. If you pay me just now, you may pay 900. So the early the payment, the more is the rebate that he is getting, the concession he is getting. So that concession, that rebate is an expense for the drawer, and it is enjoyed. It is an income for the drawee. That is called retiring a bill under a rebate. The accounting treatment. For X, I told you drawer, it is an expense. Expenses are always debited. If you remember the nominal account, the rule for nominal account, debit all expenses. So bank account to BR, otherwise the receiving the payment should have been bank to BR. Here, rebate is an extra concession that is being given, an expense on the books, in the books of the drawer. So bank account debit, rebate on bill or bill account debit to BR. And in the books of drawee, otherwise it would have been bills payable to bank. Now rebate is an income that he is enjoying for making the payment early. So rebate account will be credited as well. Bills payable to bank to rebate on bill account. This was discussed earlier. Illustration 11, the followed illustration, Chandar and Dinesh, this was discussed. I had done this with you. Now we'll proceed to the next case, that is called dishonor of a bill. Here, dishonor of a bill. Now children, what is dishonor? The accounting meaning or the literal English meaning of dishonor we have discussed earlier. We know what is dishonor. Dishonor means it has not been honored. Very simple. It has not been honored. But what is the meaning of honor? What is honor? Honor means when the bill is presented, it is paid. It is cleared. The payment has been received against that. That is being honored. But the reverse of that will be a case when the bill is presented for payment. The drawer has presented the bill to drawee for payment, but drawee does not honor that bill. That will be the case of dishonor of a bill. The reasons for dishonor may be many. Just follow your book. The definition of dishonor, you'll have to learn the definition as it is. See, when the acceptor of a bill refuses to pay the amount of bill on the date of maturity or becomes insolvent, it is called dishonor of the bill. In case of dishonor, the holder of the bill can recover the amount of the bill from any of the endorsers or the drawer. For this purpose, the holder of the bill must serve a notice of dishonor. Now the bill has been cancelled. The bill has been dishonored. Children, if you remember, we discussed earlier that a bill of exchange is a legal document because it has been agreed and signed by both the parties, the drawer as well as drawee. Because it has been signed, agreed by both the parties, so it becomes a legal document. And dishonor of a bill, dishonor of a legal document is an offense in the books, in the eyes of law. So that is a punishable offense. So for that, the case in the court of law can be filed, and the person, that means the person who has to pay, the drawee, acceptor of the bill, can be held responsible, and he will have to pay the charges for that dishonor. Maybe the charges in case any fee that the drawer has paid to the lawyer, to the advocate he has hired, or any type of charges that the drawer has made at that time to recover the payment, that will be liable to be collected by the drawee. That is an offense. Now, after that, these charges which are collected, that means the penalty of getting the bill dishonored, that is called noting charges. So, noting charges, just follow your textbook. To establish the fact that the bill was properly presented and dishonored, the bill is usually handed over to a person called notary public. So, notary public here is a person appointed by the court. He's a lawyer who has been recruited just for this purpose. This lawyer, this advocate, handles only the cases of bill of exchange. So this lawyer, the notary public, he handles the case of this dishonor in case of any dishonor. So the drawer, in the event of dishonor, will approach this lawyer. He will get his case registered through this lawyer called notary public, for which the notary public will charge him a fee. This fee, for the moment when the case is being taken in the court, for the time being, it will be paid by the drawer, because drawer is hiring this notary public. Services of notary public are hired by the drawer. It is his interest. So first, the notary public will be paid by the drawer, and later on it will be recovered by the drawee. So the charges that are paid to the notary public, first initially by the drawer and later on recovered by the drawee, are called the noting charges. Here, the notary public charges a small fee for the services rendered by him, which is called noting charges. So in brief, noting charges are the penalty. It is a fee that is paid for the dishonor of the bill, which initially are paid by the drawer and later recovered by the drawee. Accounting treatment in your textbook. The accounting treatment, first case, when Y, the acceptor, the drawee of the bill of dishonor, the bill on the due date. First entry, Y to BR, and in the books of drawee, bills payable to X. Just if you note here, this is the cancellation of the bill. I told you, in the event of any type of cancellation, BR will always be credited. Otherwise, it's an asset, debit balance. But in the event of cancellation, BR will be credited and bills payable will be debited. Then, when X pays the noting charges, Y to cash, and later noting charges to X. Or we can combine these two entries. The entry of cancellation, you just remember the entry that is easier to remember and easier to forge there. In the event of dishonor, noting charges तो होंगे ही होंगे. So noting charges for the drawer, noting charges को noting charges नहीं कहना है. क्यों? क्योंकि इसके लिए कैश है. He will recover this from drawee. Drawee के लिए noting charges हैं. So you will write the same money, the same payment. Here it is called cash and here it will be called noting charges. So initially paid by the drawer, Y to BR to cash. है ये noting charges ही. But it will be called noting charges in the books of the drawee. Bills payable, noting charges to X. I hope the entry is clear. Now we'll proceed to the accounting treatment in the question. Please switch on to the next video for this.